Hello everyone, my name is Anna and I am a multi-certified personal trainer. I first got certified in 2011 and foam rolling was certainly a thing, but only now I feel like it's really gone very mainstream. So today I'm going to be showing you my main moves with the foam roller that has literally saved me thousands of dollars in chiropractic bills just because of how beneficial it is in some of these key areas. So the first area I always foam roll is my quads. I am quad dominant, and what that means is I tend to feel leg exercises such as squats, deadlifts, lunges, all in my quads both at the time and during DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. So I always get sore in my quads. My quads do most of the work. Now, most of my experience with clients is that they are quad dominant too. So it's a really prevalent problem. The reason it's a problem is when your quads take over in these movements where your posterior chain muscles are supposed to be involved, for instance, at the bottom of a squat, so at the deepest point of a squat, your posterior chain muscles remain undeveloped or they don't properly fire in these movements. That raises two main issues: pain in the lower back, the hips, and the knees. So when your quads overwork and they get very tight, sometimes your pelvis can be actually shifted in an improper way. And also what happens is these smaller kind of accessory muscles to the main movers get over involved. And those two things can cause a lot of pain, like I mentioned, in the lower back, in the hips, and in the knees. And in aesthetics, you are not going to grow a bum. You're not going to be able to activate your glutes and your hamstrings properly, and you're going to end up with these very heavy, big quad legs, which is fine. However, like I mentioned before, the real problem is the underactivity of the posterior chain muscles. So when you're rolling out your quads, what you want to have is a foam roller. It can be a long foam roller, and I recommend starting with a softer one. If you're already used to foam rolling, you could definitely use a PVC pipe version, which is quite a bit firmer. And two, I use this again for my quads. It just supports my other knee, the leg that I'm not working, and it gives me a little more comfort during the movement, which is pretty helpful. So when you're rolling the quad, you're going to set up so one of your knee is up and out at about 90 degrees, and I place mine on the yoga block. And you're going to think about rolling your quad in three places. So you're thinking section one, just above the kneecap and just to the bottom of the middle of the quad. You're going to roll up and down, and then you're going to roll side to side a little bit. And then what's really important is you want to lift your heel or your foot towards your bum, up slowly and down slowly. This is going to cause a lot of discomfort. The more discomfort you have, typically the more you need to be doing it, because the more often you foam roll, the less uncomfortable it's going to get, and you're going to start to notice the real benefits when it comes to the pain and the movement of your body. And then you move on to section two, which is just about the middle of the thigh, up and down a little bit, gently side to side, and then lifting your leg up towards your bum again. Then you work at the top of the quad. You might feel some discomfort or some feeling in your hip. That's totally normal because that's where one of your hip flexors is going to be compressed by the foam roller as well. And generally I spend about a minute to a minute and a half doing one leg before moving on to the other. The next area that really needs to be addressed is the calf. So the calf is comprised of two main muscles. That's the soleus, which is just at the top of the Achilles towards the middle of the bottom of your leg. And then there's the gastrocnemius muscle, which is the one that looks like a chicken fillet. So the reason we want to roll this is really going to help reduce pain when it comes to pain in the front of your shin, like shin splints, pain in the bottom of your foot, in your heel, and just pain in your calves in general. And functionally, the more you roll out these muscles, generally the better your foot mechanics become, and also the more ankle mobility you develop, and that will actually make your squat way better. So when we're rolling out the calf muscle, you can start with the soleus towards the bottom of the leg, and you're gonna think about it in 3 sections, but this is 3 sections next to each other. So you're gonna roll the center of the bottom of your leg, then kind of turn out, so you're getting the outside of the bottom of your leg and then the inside of the bottom of your leg. And you're gonna roll up and down a little bit and then just lift your toes up towards your shin and slowly drop it. So similar to when you're pulling your foot up in the quad roll, we're doing the same kind of process here. And then you're gonna move up towards the gastrocnemius muscle, which is the upper muscle, and do the exact same pattern of movement. So just up and down a little bit and then lifting your foot up towards your shin just to release the muscle. And then of course you're going to want to repeat on the other side. And then the final muscle I always address, no matter what muscle group I'm training that day, is the pec minor. So the pec minor is a muscle underneath your pec major. So it is one of your chest muscles. And what it does is it connects your shoulder to your rib cage. So this muscle is responsible for a lot of pushing movements and overhead movements, but it's also responsible for this rounded forward shoulder posture that a lot of us get, especially when we're working at a desk all day, or just generally females, we get really tight and compressed in this muscle based on how our bodies are built. So warning, this one is going to be really uncomfortable when you first do it, but as soon as you finish, you're going to notice that you have so much more range in your shoulder and just this beautiful open chest feeling. For this muscle, I don't use a foam roller, I use a trigger point crossball. Now this is specifically designed for myofascial compression, muscle compression. However, a tennis ball works well too. So what you want to do is you want to put the ball up against the pec minor. I generally do 2 spots since it does connect into the ribs. I start a little lower about here. And then you're gonna press up against a wall and just kind of wiggle around. It's gonna feel really sharp right away. That's how you know you've got the muscle. And you just wanna spend about a minute moving around and releasing that area. Then you wanna go out and place the ball higher. So this is up towards the front delt muscle, but just below it. Same thing, go up against the wall and just move around until you feel like you've had enough, but really about a minute. This is going to significantly decrease your risk of injury to your shoulder and to your rotator cuff muscles, so your shoulder stabilized muscles. This is also going to really improve your form and your range of motion in overhead movements. So a lot of us, as we get older, we actually kind of lose the ability to go up and overhead without jilting our shoulder blade up. This is going to help open up your shoulder so that you're a lot more mobile. It's going to be a lot safer for you training those movements in the gym. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and got something from it. Like I said before, I do this routine 2 to 3 times per day, especially the quads. If I'm going to choose anything to repeat, it's the quads. It's really a short amount of time. You can fit it into your day, and just like any other healthy habit, it does take a week or 2 before you really start to notice the effects, but you are definitely going to notice the effects once you're doing this with regularity. Like I said, your movements are going to really improve, and your ability to recruit the right muscles in those movements is going to improve dramatically as well. So you're going to see functional benefits, but you're going to also see aesthetic results. So I definitely recommend you picking up a foam roller ASAP if you don't already have one, and trying this routine out as soon as possible.